So the big question is this: how are those in the self-storage industry like us going to be successful in today's market? That's the question, and this show will give you the answers. My name is Jim Ross, and welcome to the Self-Storage Show. Hi everyone, this is Jim Ross from the Self-Storage Show. Today's edition, we're going to be continuing our Inside Self-Storage Speaker Spotlight series. Today I got Gaetano Javarone. I'm sure I murdered her name, but how's it going?
Perfect. It's going good. Going
Oh,
good. A little weather here, but going good.
you're in New York, right?
Yes. Upstate New York and getting pounded by old man winter here.
Say, we can just, who cares about the podcast? We just sit here and just talk about where we live and our going through winter and waiting for spring to hit. So that'll be a podcast. No, let's jump into it real quick. I know you're going to be going to Inside Storage here in, what, April? Yeah, it's coming up quick. Uh,
April coming up quick. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, it'd be great. Giving a presentation there, but kind of before we jump into the presentation aspect of it, I want to know a little bit more about you. How'd you get into storage and what's your role in storage here?
Well, yeah. Well, we dove into self storage in about 2004. We built a small facility because we were tired of paying rent to somebody else. We figured the storage would pay for the office, so that ended up working out pretty well, and built another facility in another corner of the county here, and worked out pretty well. And my partners and I have enjoyed self storage. It's definitely had its ups and downs, but I was the original manager of the entire facility, and so far we've been able to grow and put on another manager and another part timer. So I'm sure some of the listeners would understand the one man show for a little while, the chief cook and bottle washer and auctioneer, all of it and all wrapped up in one. That's how we got into it.
Well, I actually love that because I love when I hear the stories of owners that are wearing all the hats because you know every single aspect of what it takes to run a effective storage business. You know, you're not just sitting from behind a desk and directing orders. You've been there and done that. You know what works.
I try to tell people all the time, everything I everything I talk to people about, I've screwed up royally, so I know exactly how not to do it.
Well, that kind of leads right into your presentation. I know you're talking about cost-effective marketing strategies for small storage owners. So, I mean, that's you. You've lived it. So, who else better to say it than someone that's actually done it from beginning to end? So, yeah, if you don't mind, kind of give us a little sneak peek on what you're going to be talking about.
Sure. It's basically what we've been talking about. It's um, I've tried a bunch of stuff. I tried hiring it at first, and what I found out is there's a lot of advertisers, especially for digital marketing. There's a lot of advertisers that focus on one area of digital marketing, and um, not just for self storage, but every small business. If you're not set up right from the beginning, from your Google page, your Google business page to your website, if you don't integrate all that, it can get very expensive because you have different vendors doing different things and not communicating with each other. And another another thing that I found out the hard way is that just because somebody says they're a digital marketer doesn't really mean they're a digital marketer, and it can get you in trouble. So as a small owner, I found I had to learn at least enough to be dangerous in order for me to understand a little bit about what the vendors were providing and what might hurt me in the end. So that's kind of how I went down the road, and what I'm going to be showing at ISS is a framework that I've tested and battle tested and come up with to kind of self optimize your site, self optimize your Google business listing, so that if you hire somebody, they're kind of building your optimization and your social portfolio on something that you own that can't be taken from you. That's another thing that I learned the hard way. Is that if you ever part
Yes.
ways with an SEO company, it can get expensive because they tend to own it all. So
Yep.
um,
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I know you know what that's about. But
No, we talked about that, kind of like the questions to ask your SEO company. That was those questions I wrote down before were kind of born out of necessity because I've gotten burned
oh,
before.
definitely.
You know what I mean?
I
So
had the first person I ever hired to build my website when I wanted to leave him because he didn't know anything about any of the Google updates, which kind of tanked my first site. We had a lengthy conversation about who actually owned my brand. So we fortunately we were able to come to an agreement, but it could have got ugly really quick. And I don't know if some of the smaller owners know that um, it's kind of the wild, wild west. If you haven't actually bought your domain yourself and your hosting company did, I mean, you might be at their mercy for a little bit. So
yep, been
that's
there.
kind of the
So
first
yeah.
part of it.
So it
Yes,
sounds like
sir.
it's not. I mean, so it's not so much as exactly like do this and do that. You're also kind of pointing out the pitfalls to for owners to watch out for. So no, it sounds like it's going to be a good presentation. So do you
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
do you like do I mean you're doing your own SEO then right now?
Yes, yes, I've been doing, and like I've spent probably tens of thousands of dollars on courses in different groups,
Yeah,
learning the difference between, I'm sure you've heard the term white hat and black hat.
sure.
Um, and SEO is changing. I think there's a presentation at ISS actually about, the future of SEO. And what I've learned is everybody's got their own recipe. There's no one answer to the question of optimization. And I've also learned that it is possible to optimize for Google business listings. Now, the one thing I tell some people is if you're surrounded by, if you do a Google business listing search, say storage units in New York City, you're going to come up with, public storage and Cube Smart and all the major self storage
All the
REITs.
big boys.
Guess
Yeah.
what? You're not going to rank in that three pack. It's just not going to happen. But one thing that I'm seeing is in the smaller areas, Google is actually giving you the opportunity to rank in more three packs. They're becoming hyper local, so you do have the ability to rank, within 1 to 2 miles from your facility. Again, if you're not surrounded by the big REITs who have a ton of money. So
I
I'm hoping to add to. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's great. I've noticed that too. I mean, really, it seems like in the last year, the hyper local, and I know it's just because it's more so focused on mobile optimization, obviously, but the results are coming up on Google My Business has been much better as far as where you're geographically located at that time you're looking for the search for storage facilities. So I'm sure you've seen the same thing, but yeah, it's gotten much better as far as results are showing up.
Yeah, and it's good. It's good news for the small owner because
Yeah.
and it makes sense because Google Google is there to make money. Their biggest revenue is advertising revenue. So if you have if you can double the amount of three packs that you have by becoming hyper local and tightening the radius, that's what they're going to do, and that's what you're seeing. You're seeing, within 1 to 2 miles, you can put the same search in for the same keywords, and you're going to pop up with three different maps packs.
Yeah.
And Google's going to make money on every one of them, and if you're optimized, you're going to pop up.
And when you say a three pack, we're internet nerds here, so we know what we're talking about. But for people that are
Yeah.
listening here, when you're searching for self storage near me, for example, well, you're gonna have like pay per click ads. There's usually shows the top three. Google My Business, it's showing three listings, and you have to click more to see more listings. So it's ideal to be able to show up on the top three because it's less friction. People don't have to click another button to see more sites in your area. So that's what we mean by the three pack. You want to be in the top
Absolutely.
three.
Used to be seven, now it's three.
It's Google's world. Let's just change your presentation and we'll just be it's Google's world. We just live in it. That's
That's it.
that's.
That's it. We're the small squirrels trying to get something. Yep.
But I'm sure there's I'm be coming to your presentation. I'm I'd like to hear some strategies and things like that. That I would hope that is I mean, can the average person to kind of know enough to kind of get the ball rolling, or is this more helpful to hold like their SEO company accountable that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
My goal is to do both.
Okay.
It's not. It's basically a roadmap that I've used and that I'm continuing to use and I call it in the presentation. It's called the digital stack. So what to start with, and you've done a lot of it on your show with there's certain things that you want on your website to convert. It's
Yeah.
great if you can get clicks, but if your website's not set up to convert, those clicks don't mean anything.
Yep.
So you can't, and that's what I found out hiring different SEOs. They promise all kinds of clicks, but we didn't talk about conversion. So clicks without conversion really don't mean anything. So if you can stack it where you get the clicks, you have a site that converts, you have a site that tracks, you have all your tags on there to make sure that you're building the lists and the audiences that you need to retarget. All of it is, I try to break down and make it as simple as possible. Obviously, it's a 50-minute course, so I'm going to do as best I can to explain it and break it down. But it's definitely something that the single owner can do. It just takes a little time, but you set it up in a way where you just have to tweak it later. It takes a lot of work on the front end, but you can tweak it and you can turn it over to an SEO with some parameters that you want your links built in a certain way. So
no, that makes
hopefully I can cover both.
no, that makes total sense. I'm just curious. If you don't have to give it away here, but I was just looking at your bio here on the website. How are you using email in unique ways? What do you mean by
Yes.
that? I'm curious.
So you can tag. I'm sure you're familiar, and hopefully everybody's familiar with retargeting.
Sure.
There's certain display ad let's call them wholesalers that will allow you to tag email. So we send out I send out some special emails during the month to my existing list, my existing customers, and we also, and I can tell this, we also create a custom list, a custom name escapes me right now, but it's a custom email list, custom audience, lookalike audience. There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
You create a lookalike audience from your current customers and your past customers, so that you can better target some of the whether it's display ads or Facebook ads or even AdWords right now. You can do that to create lookalike audiences that you can advertise to bring them into the facility or at least make a phone call.
Nice. Well, good. I'm excited to be. I'll definitely be there in the audience, and I'll be taking notes. But the point is, it sounds like you're going to be providing a decent roadmap for owners and operators to help follow. So at least nothing else, they can help be better educated on what's going on right now in the internet world. So no, this would be a fantastic presentation.
There's so many snake oil salesmen. If you don't have some kind of criteria to hold them to, I'm sure, just like you could be taken advantage of. And it sounds like both of us have been there.
Yep, school of hard knocks, definitely.
Yes, sir.
So you're going to be speaking. Looks like it's Wednesday, April 3rd at 9 o'clock. So bright and early.
Yep. Bright and early. Yeah, I'll be there. I'm hoping to get in and take in the entire show, just because it's been a while since I've been to a show. So we'll be roaming around, seeing what's going on.
Well, good deal. I'll catch up with you in Vegas then. It'll be good to see you.
Sounds good. Same here.
All right. Well, thanks for making the time to be on the show, and I'll see you here in, not too long, in a couple months here. So I'll see you in April.
Sounds good, Jim.
All right. Take care.